respectful obeisance to the divine lotus feet of His Divine Grace, Param Guru Pad Padma, Param Hamsakula Churamani Srila, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada. I humbly pray for His divine mercy in my life. Be bestowed in my life upon all of you. Jai. Jai Sri Samasta Guru Varga ki Jai. Guru Parampara Guru Varga ki Jai. I also appreciate very much the beautiful way our dear Bhaktivinod Nandan Swami Maharaj Nandan Swami Maharaj and all the good-hearted devotees connected continuing with maintaining this temple very nicely, and the Vaishnava association so nicely. Truly appreciate this. My loving regards to all of you, the assembled devotees here, good hearts. Hare Krishna. There are so many ways to speak Krishna Katha, so many topics and aspects of the infinite Krishna Katha, Radha Krishna Katha, Gauranga Katha. Something is just coming in my mind spontaneously, one aspect that. Sometimes we wonder how to present Krishna consciousness to some group of people, certain type of people according to time, place, situation, so that it becomes more understandable, so that they can accept it. Accept it to the heart with inspiration. They can relate instead of being put off. So, our acharyas, great acharyas like Srila Bhaktivinod Goswami, Satchidananda Bhaktivinod Thakur, Srila Saraswati Goswami Thakur, Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, Bhaktivinod Swami Maharaj, and all others. They also taught us to present philosophy of Krishna consciousness, more dynamic ways according to time, place, situation, understanding, so that our preaching purpose becomes successful. When purpose is not defeated. Sometimes we can follow a very orthodox way of the presentations. Sometimes when we find, some of the Western European people, some of the Western European societies don't understand how to appreciate Krishna consciousness, treasure of Krishna consciousness, while present in a very orthodox way. We should be a bit relaxed and present it such a way respectfully understandable to them, So the main purpose of the preaching is not defeated, it is successful. So, we may not all the time remain very much obliged to certain forms of presentation of Krishna consciousness, whether orthodox or relaxed way. But be more attentive, focused towards the essence, towards the presentation of the essence, Krishna consciousness, that is more important. Form is very good, but it has to serve the main purpose. Main purpose. What is the purpose? It should help people to accept Krishna consciousness to the heart with inspiration. I know questions can arise. What is the limitations? Some of the basic fundamental ways, orthodox ways, need to be followed. They are not called form. When I say form, I don't mean the very fundamental, essential, orthodox ways at all, because they are not form, they also relate to essence. But sometimes some of the ritual ways, which is too foreign, looks too foreign, too unfamiliar to other people. That's what I'm talking about. In Germany, well, they understand and respect Indian culture, Vedic culture more or less. Those who are conscious of the history, spiritual history, German people feel related with high class Vedic culture, Indian culture. They take pride on that, so it's different, but it's not all case. All over the European countries, everywhere, all Western countries. Therefore we also find some kind of apparent, distinctive ways of the presentation of Krishna consciousness made by Thakur Srila Bhaktivinod in his books like the Krishna Samhita, the Chaitanya Shikshamritam, in the earlier days of his compositions, and some of his later days of his presentation, and also between his ways and Srila Saraswati Thakur's ways of the presentations. Whereas we find Thakur Bhaktivinod became a bit more liberal to present Krishna consciousness to the intelligentsia, the people of the world according to time, place, situation. Okay, to help them understand it. Okay, properly understand it in a more relaxed way. We find Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada followed the other way around. Many places became more strict, become a little more rigid, strict, to present same treasure of Krishna consciousness. Okay, especially in the field of India, according to the then time, place, situation, because that was needed. That's rigidity. That is rigidity, strictness in presenting Krishna consciousness in a certain way, were required at that time to protect the purity, to protect his original purity, exalted, lofty nature. So both are required. Fine, both ways are valid. Both ways are very much qualified. because they are required. If you simply read, go through the books, especially earlier days compositions by Thakur, Bhaktivinod books, and Srila Saraswati Thakur, right? You can see it, what I am talking about. So, like the ideal doctors. Sometimes, many times, our Guru Varga followed the ways like the ideal, realized doctors. Same doctors prescribe in different ways, in different types, for the different patients, according to this nature of sickness and constitution. Okay, so that sickness gets cured, constitution becomes purified. Same doctor prescribing differently for different individuals. It's also understood in a dynamic way. We cannot question. You are saying, doctor, why prescribing so differently for different individuals? You are not following the same way, same standard. Cannot question. Because his prescription depends on the needs, curing needs of different patients, different according to their conditions, individual conditioning. Therefore, methods of guidance, many times systems of some specific guidance in the lives of specific disciples according to the specific individual taste and constitutional nature. Taste and nature. Found, given by, say, Gurudev. Accordingly, I repeat. Many times we find our great gurus give some special guidance, specific guidance according to specific individual natures to make true advancement in the cultivation of spiritual life. We will always have the spiritual truths. We always share in our life is marked by both folds, both ways. Something in common, whereas something in particular. I repeat, something we always share in common. We have got so much common grounds of the spiritual truth we all share in our life in the same similar way. But there are some spiritual truths applied, accepted in particular. So both are well accommodated to make real spiritual progress. Achinta Bheda Bheda. One ultimately goes on following the principle of simultaneous oneness and distinctions that of inconceivable character. common ways and particular ways of the revelation of spiritual truth. Acceptance of them in our life. Any query, related or unrelated? The topics I have just discussed, is clear to you? Understand what I'm talking about. Although I'm not giving particular examples, not yet, but you understand our principle. Yes, please.
How, when do you know whether you can help in different situations? Let's say in a person, maybe in the modality of tamas, how you can help if it's like doubts, like yes, but and then because you spoke also flexibility, and so sometimes we don't know up to where to be flexible.
Limits to be there.
Yes. So sometimes.
So you mean trauma? When a person is in a trauma, you said something?
Tamaguna.
Tamaguna.
Yes,
Okay.
but sometimes not so.
Okay. Tamaguna and trauma also related. So again, we the devotees must try to help that person in tamoguna by understanding his nature, his ways of the likings and dislikings if possible, and mostly follow his ways of the likings and enter into his heart, approach him in a friendly way, friendly manner. Okay, and then it's the power of more friendly love and care to try to help, and it works. Because the people in tamoguna become so conditioned by egotism, influenced by big false pride, big ego. So if you go to challenge his ego, he feels challenged or attacked, he gets put up, closed up, he won't listen to you. The more practical ways to approach to that kind of people, okay, to relate to the heart of that kind of people more with friendly, loving spirit, without hitting his ego, making him feel I'm attacked, my pride is attacked, intelligence, pride attacked, a more friendly, loving way. It's Vaishnava way, more practical, which realistically working. And that's also one of our Vaishnava qualities, to become kind, compassionate, to approach everybody with some kindness, compassion, forgiving nature, loving friendship, in Krishna consciousness, but without doing all this in Krishna consciousness, not without connection of Krishna. Then they are not valid. They don't work. Doing all this, offering kindness, compassion, forgiveness, loving friendship in Krishna consciousness, related to the absolute good. Then merciful power also gets transmitted or connected with Krishna in that effort to help that person. Okay. So that is the more practical ways. Now, In order to follow certain ways of his likings and enter into his heart doesn't mean you make wrong compromises. To keep balance. You have to be balanced. Okay? So one has to know how to make a start, how far to go, where to stop. Okay, the way of the approach. So, I'm talking about properly adjusted ways, proper ways of the adjustments in relation to individual person in tamoguna. The proper way of the adjustments to help, adjusted ways, more reasonable ways to practically help that person in tamoguna as per time, place, situation according to his nature. But again, without wrong compromise. Now questions will arise, what is the definition of wrong compromise? How far to go and which way, which devotee is qualified, how to give that help to that person in tamoguna. And all these questions are involved. They get answered with the realization of that devotee. Okay? The sincere feelings of that devotee can receive inspiration from, can receive proper guidance to do that, to give that kind of help to a person in tamoguna from the Charita Guru level, also from Mahanta Guru, from Krishna, Supreme Guru, can receive help. So, I have not finished answering. Let me just, I like to complete the circle of answering, otherwise other points remain unanswered. So, we have got various Vaishnava ways recommended by the scriptures and Mahajanas to be applied, okay, in certain particular cases, to approach certain individuals under certain specific time, place, situations. All the scriptural injunctions, all the recommendations of the scriptures are not applied to all in all cases, just in general, but they have the deserving particular cases of applications. They have certain specific cases of the application. I hope you understand what I mean. Because in other words, we find the Holy Scriptures give so many recommendations, so many injunctions and instructions. But all of them, all those instructions are not meant for one and all. Understood? They're all meant for different categories. They all find their own specific common applications and also specific type of applications under different specific time, place, situations. Okay. Like the world of treatment, there are all different kinds of medicines and ways of the treatment. All of them not applicable to all. So we need to understand specific ways of applications. Understand and apply accordingly. So, therefore, Holy Scriptures gives us instruction, guidance for the people, for us, condition tamoguna, rajoguna, sattva-guna. Also, we find instructions, guidance in the same Holy Scripture for a life liberated, more than sattva-guna, Shuddha sattva-guna. So all kinds of Holy Scriptures, in other words, the world of the treasures of the Holy Scriptures, the world of the instructions and guidance of all the Holy Scriptures and the Mahajanas. In other words, it's a big treasure house, unlimited. So one has to select which one we need from that treasure, at what time, place, situation. Accept that and apply it, utilize, and get the best result. And we have to know how to do that with proper understandings of the Siddhantas. Basic needs of our life in Krishna consciousness, under different time, place, situations, and individual cases. So, should be quite clear. Yes, so you're going to ask something. Forgot?
I already answered.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other query related to these topics or unrelated? From any aspects of spirituality, divinity.
Maharaj, you were saying that Srila Bhaktivinod Saraswati had more rigid style, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had more like a liberal way of introducing bhakti to everyone. And you were saying that both of them are genuine, bona fide. I mean, mostly in the West we more know the style of Srila Bhaktivinod Saraswati. So, by the other way, I don't know how we can come to know more the ways of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
Well, internally, the ways of Thakur Bhaktivinod and the ways of our Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada, all inseparably interrelated, interconnected. They promote each other, okay, internally. So, by essence, what is presented by Thakur Bhaktivinod and the one presented by Saraswati Goswami Thakur are one and same, with variegatedness though. When I say one and same, like in a rainbow, all colors came together unified into oneness, beautifying each other, the rainbow. At the same time, they have some maintenance and variegatedness. Unity with harmony, harmony in unity, unity in harmony, unity in harmonious diversity, diversity in harmonious unity. Rainbow is a nice example that I often give. So that's how the teachings, life and precepts of Thakur Bhaktivinod and the same life and precepts of Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada are related. Okay? Like in a rainbow, very closely related. There is no real difference by the nature of essence between their presentations. Still, variegated ways there and applications. So, while we are following the ways of Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada in the West mostly, we can also follow the ways of Thakur Bhaktivinod, just in harmonious cooperations with both the ways, harmonious presentations. Because Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada also applied the ways of Thakur Bhaktivinod in his lifetime. Whereas the ways he adopted, some very adherent, rigid ways, also inspired by Thakur Bhaktivinod. According to time, place, situation, it was needed at that time, specifically, very much needed. Hare Krishna. In the field of treatment, sometimes we find in the need of some nice, pleasant massage, need of taking and being given nice, pleasant massage like we find in Ayurveda, invigorating. Sometimes need some surgery to save our life. Same doctor can appear in both roles, and then giving some nice, pleasant massage, giving massage therapy. And while, if required, same doctor holding the knife to do the surgery. Both are required to save lives. So, expert doctor knows what to do, under which circumstances, how. And so, Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada also became relaxed. Some ways or some specific situation. But he was also become very relaxed and liberal. Took very liberal ways to present Krishna consciousness, time to time. But because of the then situation in India, overall situation, he had to appear, play the role of a surgeon, mostly. Okay, he had to be engaged in doing surgery. To take out some parts of gangrenes and diseased part in order to save life, pure spiritual body, our spiritual life. Whereas Thakur Bhaktivinod in many places he mostly gave us a nice pleasant massage therapy to invigorate us. So sometimes Thakur Bhaktivinod also became a surgeon, spiritual doctor, surgeon, to do some surgery, to save a spiritual body. Okay, so what's any specific question you have? Any specific examples, what you mean?
There is one conversation, somebody asked your Gurudev Srila Maharaj, what is the difference between Srila Bhaktivinod and Srila Maharaj? And Srila Maharaj answered by saying that Srila Bhaktivedanta was more projected to reach the attention of the masses and help the masses. And Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur was more focused on the progress of the individual. So, but like you say, both are necessary, no? But once from the masses.
So that was answered by Guru Maharaj? So
this was the answer of Srila Maharaj. And, but once, my question is, once from the masses, there is an individual who long for a deeper bhajan, then when and how he can, this rigid method that may be applied for the masses, maybe it's not necessarily applicable to someone who already knows that. So, but when is the time or the moment where he can, like your Gurudev is saying, follow the line of Bhaktivinod Thakur? You understand what I mean?
I understand in my own way, what you say. Okay. While my Guru Maharaj said the higher stage, advanced stage of the spiritual practices is to follow Bhaktivinod Thakur ways. Like that. I understand that in my own way. He said that in a way, in total harmony with the ways of Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada, not something away from his ways. Okay. So therefore I said I understand that instruction in my own way, properly understood way. So again, though if Guru Maharaj said, if Guru Maharaj answered in that way, the way you have described, he meant it. It's true that some of the rigid Vaidhi principles, Vaidhi methods applied in the neophyte state of the sadhana may not be needed, are not needed on the advanced state of spiritual practice, spiritual life. So Bhaktivinod Thakur's ways can be more applicable in that state. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the Ragamarga ways also offered by Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada for the advanced level of life of Krishna consciousness are not applicable. Because the ways of the Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada not just limit the ways of the presentation of Krishna consciousness by Srila Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada, not necessarily limited only within rigidity, only within Vaidhi Marga, Vaidhi principles, but also so much of it also focuses on Raga Marga, so much of it presented for Raga Marga ways. There are so many examples, okay. More guarded. He presented in more safeguarded ways. Okay, that's the difference. So, therefore, we cannot say only, also Guru Maharaj cannot mean that way. Only Thakur Bhaktivinod's ways are applicable in the lives of higher Krishna consciousness, in the lives of advanced devotees of Krishna. And not Saraswati Thakur's way so much. You cannot say that. Okay, did not mean that. We have to understand according to the context and mood of Guru Maharaj. What he was meaning, because Guru Maharaj was a great harmonist. Okay, we have always known all through. The great harmonist.
Sorry, can I mix it? When you put there, I have a sound from the energy. Yes, it's very sensitive. Do you need it more increased?
It's fine, there's some coughing coming. Hare Krishna. Coughing coming. Krishna. So So if,
I closed. You can.
okay, so I have to
Mm.
signal you like this.
Yes, you can. I closed. I see.
Then put it up
It's
immediately.
closed.
Krishna. Also, I want to take it away so that it doesn't come in contact. Okay. Any other query?
So I'm curious about your experience with all those amazing and great sadhus. Actually, there is a book that my Guru Maharaj published from Nandan Swami, La Ciencia Confidencial del Bhakti Yoga in Spanish. This is a compilation of classes Srila Maharaj. And in that book, there's a famous picture, and you are there with Puri Maharaj, Govinda Maharaj, Srila Maharaj, and many others. And I saw you in India in 2010 when I was in Vrindavan, and you were many times invited to come to Vrindavan and give classes. So I am always curious. I was always curious. I didn't have the opportunity to ask you like a little bit your experience with, because you talked a little bit yesterday. You were a little kid. You were like hours listening the conversations between Srila Prabhupada, Srila Maharaj, and I just can say this must be like the most lucky person in the world, in the universe. Yes, so I'm curious to know a little bit more, like something else, please.
Okay. Valuable curiosity. Do you know, I have answered the same question so many times already. And on different parts of the world, different groups of the devotees, they have very similar curiosity. So it's a common question. As soon as they come to know about this fact, reality, oh, it's a very, very common, very important question I received. And my answers got recorded so many times. So, okay, since you have asked me in a personal way, I will do it. 67, 68. From the 1968, from the year 1968, I could remember seeing Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Bhaktivinod Swami Prabhupada together. I came in the direct contact in Navadvip Chaitanya Saraswati. I was very young. Being born as a child in a devotee's family of the disciples of Guru Maharaj. So I had the great fortune, I had the special fortune to be coming to see Guru Maharaj with my parents, devotee parents. They would naturally, whenever they would come to have darshan of their Guru, they would bring their child. In that way, I came in contact with Srila Guru Maharaj from my babyhood, from the time I didn't remember. when I was around 3.5 years of age, I could start remembering playing with Guru Maharaj. Thereafter, many times with my parents, several times my parents came to have darshan of Guru Maharaj. Because my maternal grandparents, paternal grandparents, and my own biological parents all initiated disciples of Guru Maharaj Sridhar Goswami. So that way, okay. And I also had a maternal uncle's house within the compound of Chaitanya Saraswati Math. See, I have to explain so much to answer your question, to give you a clear picture. Because my maternal grandparents were one of the chosen disciples who were ordered to come and be situated, have their residence situated in around Chaitanya Saraswati Math. Because in the earlier days, Guru Maharaj wanted some of his disciples to come and get settled around Chaitanya Saraswati Math. To some of them, even they are allowed to stay within compound, land of Chaitanya Saraswati Math, so that Guru Maharaj could receive help from his own disciples whenever he needed. So my maternal grandparents were one of those chosen disciples whom Guru Maharaj ordered to come and settle. So whenever I came with my parents, I also used to stay at the mott, also mostly staying in maternal grandparents' house there, devotees. I was little. Why I am explaining this? To clarify to you that during like 67, 68, I don't exactly remember the year, 68, 69, when Srila Bhaktivinod Swami Prabhupada first went to India after successful beginning of the American preaching, Western preaching Krishna consciousness in the Western world. First went with some of his first disciples like Ramanuja, Vachitananda, and the other Sudhakirti. So they went there, Navadvip Dham, and he got a very comfortable and nice accommodation in Chaitanya Saraswati Math at that time. And I was there, I happened to be there because my parents came to have the darshan of their Gurudev, also brought me. So I also happened to be there at that time, during that time, and could clearly remember. He came with some of his first disciples. The first time he was coming to Navadvip Dham with a mind, with some planning to find some land in Mayapur and start ISKCON temple there. Okay. So he needed some Guru Maharaj help and guidance, advice in that regard. So naturally, So I could remember seeing him and Srila Guru Maharaj together during that time. Okay. I could remember he sat with his own disciples in the temple of Chaitanya Saraswati Math. Okay. I could remember, I don't exactly remember, he sat with his disciples on the temple floor of main temple of Chaitanya Saraswati, but I could remember his disciples sat on the temple playing some tape recorder, Hare Krishna Mahamantram sung by him. Yes. sung by their guru, Srila Bhaktivinod Swami Maharaj, and they were just following. He was leading the singing and they were following, playing the tape recorder. But I could remember seeing him together, living in a house called White House, very nearby, situated nearby Chaitanya Saraswati Math. So he and all his disciples are given accommodation in that nice building over there, and they spent a few days very happily. So that was my first time of the meeting with Srila Bhaktivinod Swami Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj together. Okay. So, and then thereafter, in the I'm starting from 1971 onward, okay, to maybe 75, 76. And several times I met both their divine graces, saw both their divine graces together. I had the immense fortune to see them together several times in Navadvip Chaitanya Saraswati as well as in Mayapur, on the occasion of Mayapur Chandadai temple. I was even there when both the exalted God brothers shared the same Vyasasana during the inauguration ceremony of Mayapur Chandadai temple. I was there, very young boy, I can remember. Myself, Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Akinchan Krishna Das Babaji, all accompanied Srila Guru Maharaj at that time. As Srila Bhaktivinod Swami Prabhupada saw, only one nice Vyasasana was prepared. There's no two Vyasasanas prepared for two God brothers. Only one Vyasasana was ready, and there was no more time to ask his disciples to make to prepare another Vyasasana. At that time they were just going to sit. So he just lovingly invited Srila Guru Maharaj to sit on the same Vyasasana. Yes, both the God brothers shared the same Vyasasana, created the history of their loving friendship, loving way of sharing the same Vyasasana. It happened by the will of the Lord. You take it in that way. If it would so happen, his disciples are so nicely trained up and created two separate Vyasasanas side by side, and sharing the same Vyasasana between two intimate God brothers would not happen. So we find some hand of Krishna behind, sweet will of Krishna also behind, to create that, to manifest that historical moment. I was one of the witnesses, eyewitness, heart witness. Thus, I have the great fortune to see both their divine graces together several times, at least 5 to 6 times. 6, 7 times I have to count. Okay, from the very early days, together. But mostly, I saw both of them together in Chaitanya Saraswati Navadvip. The Guru Maharaj would have hardly moved anywhere. So whenever he came to Navadvip now, he would not be missing. He would not miss to come to see Guru Maharaj. My revered Shiksha Gurudev Srila Bhaktivinod Swami Maharaj. He had such love, such love feelings for him, Guru Maharaj, that he could not but come at least one time during his stay in Navadvip Mayapur to see Guru Maharaj. And then wonderful, very most wonderful events, incidents manifested. There were wonderful moments of both these exalted God brothers staying absorbed in nectarian Harikatha, reciprocative Krishna Katha between them for hours and hours manifested. Both their disciples would be sitting surrounding them, disciples of Guru Maharaj, like ourselves, disciples of him, would be sitting around both the great gurus and engage, listening to nectarian Harikatha for hours, for days. I have got that fortune, such experience. Very beautiful, wonderful ways. While having exchanges of Harikatha, they relished it so much in the mood of their own Guru, Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada, how he relished the same topics, as he relished the same topics of Krishna Katha, what now they were discussing. Okay. So many beautiful scriptural verses would have appeared in the world of the relish of their Harikatha. Verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, Brahma Samhita, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes quotation from the Harikatha of Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada, their Gurudev. And they are so in tune to relish all the Krishna Katha in the way their Gurudev relished also, in that live memory of how they relish the similar, same topics of Krishna, Harikatha, when they are spoken by Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Gaur Hari Bol. Yes. Gaur Hari Bol. It is a beautiful Ishtagashti, wonderful, divine Ishtagashti manifested between two exalted, intimate God brothers. I have had that experience for many, many days in my life, on several occasions, at least 5, at least 6 occasions. And also, apart from Harikatha, they would also be talking about, they would also be expressing things in personal care for each other. The Guru Maharaj, Bhaktivinod Swami Maharaj, because they have had a relationship. They already had a long time, very close relationship between them for many years, during the time from their own Gurudev, Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, much before. All started much before. Srila Bhaktivinod Swami Prabhupada ji took sannyasa and officially came out as a great preacher. He used to invite Srila Guru Maharaj, host Guru Maharaj's Krishna Katha program in his own Kolkata residence. for many, many days, different occasions. But thus they had very close, loving relationship for many years. And both God brothers also appreciated each other, so loving way, realistically loving ways. And Guru Maharaj appreciated him to be empowered incarnation of Saraswati Thakur, Krishna, Srila Bhaktivinod Swami Maharaj. He also, Srila Bhaktivinod Swami Maharaj on the other hand also, revealed his heartfelt appreciation, calling him, recognizing him as great Shiksha Guru. When I consider him to be my own Shiksha Guru, then what to speak more of the benefits he will be receiving from his association.
It's mentioned in this book. Yes.
Okay. So, thus, I had the special fortune to feel into the worlds of the hearts of these two exalted personalities, devotees of the Lord, feeling into their heart's relationship through Krishna Katha, through their Ishtagoshti, through their loving exchanges many times. I cannot go into details, it will go on hours of hours. I've got so many sweet memories, priceless sweet memories in my life, okay, in relation to both these exalted devotees. Maybe one day they can all get manifested through some biography writing.
Yes,
Guru Maharaj.
yes.
I appreciate your care. You are ready. Also, apart from their Harikathas, I found Srila Guru Maharaj. I found Srila Guru Maharaj's special ways of caring for his god brother, great beloved god brothers, as Srila Bhaktivinod Swami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Madhav Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Kamal Madhusudana Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Alok Paramahamsa Maharaj, and Srila Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Prabhupada Keshav Maharaj, and all. So I've seen in particular whenever Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj would come to Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Maharaj and stay there, how Guru Maharaj would be especially caring about him, take care of him in some certain special ways, like some of his favorite foods must be cooked, okay, as bhoga, and then, okay, we must provide some of his favorite prasadam. So he would pay special attention towards all these things. Some foods very favorite to him, prasadam favorite to him, must be cooked, arranged. Would ask us to make sure of his comfortable accommodation, and also inspired us. I was also young, very young, so Guru Maharaj directly inspired me, instruct me. Have you paid pranam to him? A full sastanga pranam to him whenever you see him. Take his blessings, accept his blessings. Great Vaishnava, meaning about Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. Guru Maharaj would be personally instructing me, inspiring me to pay a respectful obeisance to him whenever I see him, and attending him as servitor. It so happened when some point when our Natya Mandir in Chaitanya Saraswati Math got built up, there was a nice small room on the top floor of the Natya Mandir, roof of Natya Mandir there. Attached bathroom facility, it was a small room. And Srila Bhaktivinod Swami Maharaj was accommodated, was given that room for staying there. He loved that room. Okay, attached toilet facility, it's a very small room. He loved to stay in that room. Once Guru Maharaj asked him, how did you feel staying in that room? Too small for you? He smiled. He immediately replied back with a smile, no, it was nice bhajan kuti. I had the mood of bhajan kuti because the size of the bhajan kuti is not always big. They generally become small. According to Indian tradition, they generally become small. Oh, I felt it as very nice bhajan kuti. I loved. Okay, I felt very nice to stay there. Guru Maharaj was happy. Guru Maharaj was telling him, oh, you have been touring all over the world, and you received the accommodation in such opulent, gorgeous, very more comfortable way here in my place. Because you wanted to have a very private room with attached toilet facility, so I had this small room. I had to give you. Hope you didn't feel uncomfortable, too small. And he replied, that was Guru Maharaj's mood. The way he replied, it was a nice bhajan kuti. I enjoyed to stay there. And then eventually what happened, after that room, particular room on the that corner room on the top floor of the Natya Mandir, roof of the Natya Mandir, became blessed by him, became his bhajana kuti. Then eventually, Srila Guru Maharaj offered that room to me to stay there, to live there in personal way. Personal way to do bhajana. Also, I was still studying in the college level. Okay, so I had many books to keep. Guru Maharaj wanted to give me a very nice room close to his own bhajan kuti, Guru Maharaj's residence, and that was one and only room. Okay, just on the top floor of the Natya Mandir. Anytime I could come to see Guru Maharaj through the overbridge, you have seen. And Guru Maharaj would also come to see me, sometimes lovingly, through the overbridge, while Guru Maharaj felt the need to take some walk. He just walked through the overbridge and came to Natya Mandir, the big roof, taking walk and sometimes knocking on my door. What are you doing? Studying? Or can you come out? I heard Guru Maharaj's sound, immediately opened the door, fell flat, prostrated obeisance to the lotus feet of Guru Maharaj. Then I become his companion, servitor companion. And then start walking with Guru Maharaj, walking back and forth. And Guru Maharaj would be speaking different things while walking together, holding Guru Maharaj, helping Guru Maharaj. It was so many sweet memories in my life. So eventually I was given that room by Guru Maharaj, a room which was blessed by Srila Bhaktivinod Swami Prabhupada. So I started living in that room with a lot of respect, lot of respectful appreciation. Accepted that room as his prasadam. Prasadam of Srila Bhaktivinod Swami Maharaj, his bhajana, and prasadam both ways, from his side and also it was offered to me by Guru Maharaj. Combined blessings. In this way, so see, our little memories very valuable. So many like this. I can go on for hours, days. Hare Krishna. Time to stop. Sing some bhajan. Okay, any of you sing some nice bhajan and then